Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever in the world it is that you are. Welcome once more to another live stream of Alexandra Mayer's Live, page by page reading and commentary of the modern English version of the Bible. I hope everyone out there is having a great start to their weekend. I most definitely am. Even when things don't go exactly as planned, part of why I've decided to do this page by page reading of the Bible was to just refresh myself as to how to be grateful, what to truly be grateful for. Um, I've been hoping to find some answers in regards to why I've struggled with the concept of forgiveness over the years. And before I even got through the book of Genesis, I found the answer to that question. And since then, I have been feeling a lot better about my life, myself, and any and every circumstance that I've been in, am in, and may be in the future, or may be in the future, because I do understand forgiveness, why it's important, and how it's such an important lesson to understand. It's actually essential for our lives. But there have just been some questions I've had about life that I've been seeking answers to. And I figure, you know what, maybe the answers truly are in the Bible. And so far they have been. Today I had a little mishap. I'm not going to go into it, but in hindsight, the mishap could have been so much worse than it was. And during the mishap, I I experienced a certain level of calmness. And usually I am somebody who's pretty calm in a crisis, but it was an even deeper calmness than how I normally feel when dealing with something traumatic or something that could be considered a crisis. And I feel that the calm came directly from a divine source. And I think that I felt that because I am in the midst of reading the Bible right now. So, I just kind of want to share a few thoughts before we get started tonight, and why I think reading the Bible is imperative to our being, why I think it's important. And if you're not a Christian, read whatever religious texts are applicable to whatever your system of belief is, because connecting with something outside of yourself that you know is greater than yourself really helps to put so many things into perspective. And this world that we live in is difficult, but one way to make our existence a lot easier and fairly simplified is by understanding that we are not alone, and that there is something outside of us that's greater than we are. Takes a lot of responsibility off your shoulders, actually. Which is nice. It's very nice. And hello, Gary. Welcome back. Welcome back. So let's go ahead and get started and go into Leviticus 2. We are in the book of Leviticus now, and this chapter of Leviticus goes into the grain offering. Yesterday, late last night, we learned about how technical and specific God is when it comes to the ways that the offerings are to be presented to God. And you know what? I like that God is a technical and specific God, at least at this point in the Bible, because the clearer instructions that you're given, often the better the result is. I like when people give me clear, concise instructions for tasks. That way I know exactly what I'm doing. Yes, I am capable of improvisation, as are many people, but that's kind of a lesson for life. Be specific when it comes to what you want. Don't put out something vague and have people having to play guessing games with you. it's better if people know exactly what it is that you want, because then you'll end up getting the result that you want, or at least closer to it than if you were vague. All right, so now we're going to get into the grain offering. So let's learn. Here we go. When a person offers a grain offering to the Lord, his offering shall be of wheat flour. He shall pour olive oil on it and put frankincense on it. And he shall bring it to the sons of Aaron, the priest, and he shall scoop out a handful of the flour and its oil, along with all its frankincense. Then the priest shall burn this memorial portion on an altar, a food offering made by fire, which is a pleasing aroma for the Lord. And the remainder of the grain offering shall belong to Aaron and his sons, which is a most holy part of the food offerings to the Lord made by fire. When you bring an oven baked grain offering, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour mixed with oil, or unleavened wafers spread with oil. If your offering is grain on a griddle, it shall be of unleavened wheat flour mixed with olive oil. Break it into pieces and pour oil on it. It is a grain offering. If your offering is grain in a skillet, it shall be made of wheat flour in olive oil. You shall bring the grain offering that is made of these things to the Lord. When it is presented to the priest, he shall take it to the altar. The priest shall remove a memorial portion from the grain offering and burn it on the altar, a food offering made by fire, which is a pleasing aroma for the Lord. The remainder of the grain offering shall belong to Aaron and his sons, which is a most holy part of the food offerings to the Lord made by fire. Interesting. Between the burnt offering of meat in Leviticus 1 and now the grain offering, when I really think about it, Aaron and his sons and whoever else worked with the temple, they're imbibing a pretty healthy diet. It's the Mediterranean diet, which is interesting. Olive oil is one of the healthiest oils you can cook with. I recommend anyone out there, and keep in mind, I am not officially a dietitian or a medical doctor, but I'm a pretty healthy person, and I cook with olive oil. Everyone should. It's one of the best oils to use, and as you can see, it's in the Bible. No grain offering that you bring to the Lord shall be made with leaven, for you shall not burn any leaven nor any honey as a food offering by fire to the Lord. As an offering of first fruits, you may offer them to the Lord, but they shall not be offered on the altar for a pleasing aroma. All right, so God does not want you to burn the fruit. Makes sense. You should eat the fruit. You shall season all your grain offerings with salt. You shall not fail to use the salt of the covenant of your God on your grain offering. With all your offerings, you shall offer salt. If you offer a grain offering of your first fruits to the Lord, you shall offer for the grain offering of your first fruits fresh, ripe grain roasted by fire, coarsely ground new grain. You shall put olive oil on it and frankincense on it. It is a grain offering. The priest shall burn its memorial portion and some of its coarsely ground new grain and oil, along with all its frankincense as a food offering made by fire to the Lord. Okay. And that's the end of Leviticus 2. But it does seem Aaron and likely Moses as well, they were all eating pretty well with all these offerings and whatnot, but I'm sure that they also gave some of the food to people who are needy and whatnot. But tomorrow we'll go into Leviticus 3. And we'll continue from there. So, everyone, have a wonderful Friday. I most definitely will. I'll be working all weekend. And I might do some live streams on some of my project channels. We'll see. It all depends on how much time I have. And oh, Gary just posed a question. Isn't that exactly what was the problem between Cain and Abel, grain offering versus animal? Yes, that was the problem. That definitely was the problem. It's good that you brought that up. But it seems that in these times, God is accepting all offerings. You can do a burnt offering of an animal, as long as it's one of the animals that's approved, or you can do the grain offering. I guess depending on what your role is in this society at this time within the Hebrews. If you're somebody who's a rancher, obviously you would bring an animal offering. If you're someone who is a farmer, you would bring the grain offering, or I guess whatever you can afford at that time. That's probably how it worked. I guess so. I guess so. I mean, that's something for you to research. You could do some research and bring back your findings tomorrow when I do my next reading. But yeah, at this point in Leviticus, you are able to do the grain offering or the burnt offering. Yeah. So we'll go into Leviticus 3 tomorrow. Leviticus 3 goes into the peace offering. There's a peace offering. And in Leviticus 4, there's a sin offering. Lots of offerings. Oh, and Leviticus 5, that's about the guilt offering. So there's lots of offerings you can do. Lots and lots of offerings. Very interesting. So that's a little bit of a preview of Leviticus, okay? There's a lot going on at this point. So, we'll talk again tomorrow. Everyone have a good evening. Thank you for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.